So we're here today for the first day for TCAF, and I'm going to be talking to Mathew Kumar, and he's the publisher, writer, sole editor of, do you pronounce it, is it Experience Magazine?
I just call it EXP. If it's written online and there's no punctuation, I use EXP dot, but just EXP is what I say, yeah.
EXP is sort of indie video game criticism, a little bit more in-depth, talking about games. What's your background?
Well, I'm a long-time freelance games journalist. I started in the UK and moved over here to Canada about 5 years ago and worked with magazines like Edge, worked with websites like Gamma Sutra, and as much as I love working as a video games journalist, it can get kind of samey. You're always doing news or reviews or previews or a particular type of writing, and I wanted to think that there's more to talking or thinking about games than just, reviews and previews, that sort of thing. And so I set out to kind of just make something almost for myself, a magazine that would have just whatever I really felt like. And what was I thinking about while I played the games? What was I feeling, or what did it make me think of, rather than being specifically about just what the game is, what the graphics are like, things like that,
No, over the past few years, there's the constant, the doomsayers, the death of gaming journalism, the death of print gaming journalism. Yet, you have a printed magazine here, and there has been kind of a semi-resurgence with some magazines, rebooting their magazine, like GamePro recently, and deciding to do better quality journalism. Do you think that's sort of reaction to people like you out there trying to push the gaming journalism in a different direction?
Yeah, well, when it comes to someone like GamePro, I think it's John Davis is in charge. He's, old school British guy as well, and he's used to the history of games journalism as it used to be in the UK with magazines like Amiga Power or Your Sinclair or something like that, where it was a different time and a different sort of system, and I think that he recognises that the difference is that in print you can do a different kind of content. You don't have to have the information first and fastest and don't care if you get it wrong. In print you can make it right and give it personality, and it's like you look at a screen differently from the way you read something on paper. It's an old Marshall McLuhan quote, but the medium is the message. If you read an article in EXP, you get something different from it because you're reading it in paper than you are looking at the screen, and that's the same way GamePro knows that it has something to value, people to value them, as long as it gets the content right for the medium, and therefore that'll work out. So it is, in a way, the resurgence is that people now know that the internet's not the be-all and end-all. It's not the only content that we need. We can have different contents because the medium is the message.
Now, speaking of British game journalism, I'm from the UK too. I remember from my childhood Zap 64, and when I first came to Canada, it was really strange. My experience with American game magazines was you pick out Computer Gaming World, and those kind of magazines were so dense with text, rather than and in actual fact, I think if you think about it, my opinion is that magazines like PC Gamer kind of introduced that more fast and loose journalism to the North American gaming journalism. Do you think there's truth in that statement?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think probably the American, I can't say for sure, but to me the American games journalism sort of print changed completely when PC Gamer launched in the US for the first time, because that was a totally different style, the more sort of friendly and real style, but still real content. Now, I don't have any beef with EGM, but one of the problems when you look back at the old issues is the content is not very strong. It's not very much to it. It falls through your fingers. Whereas UK Games magazines learned pretty early on that you can offer a fun, friendly style and content without having to be boom text or losing the interest. That's what I think. Yeah.
So, what are your plans for EXP? You have 2 issues. I see that, just speaking a little bit about the differences, -1, black and white, and then 0 looks like you've sort of upped the production values. Is there a plan to version 1 being even more sophisticated?
Yeah, Definitely. I think I have a lot of ideas, and the first one got a decent response. So I just evolve it slowly. All the best kind of magazines, all the ones that are out there, kind of started small and grew. You can't expect to come out of the gates and say, hey, it's going to be bigger than Rolling Stone or something. You have to be prepared to kind of build up a community and interest people, because what I'm doing is not the normal thing. I can't expect people to just love it. I couldn't have gone out and spent not hundreds, but thousands of dollars on a full glossy, printed in China thing, because I don't think people would have wanted it, and I don't think it would be a good idea. It's to get the community interested in it. As it is, this is just the beginning. Eventually we could be a glossy magazine with lots of contributors, maybe. But I don't know, but is that what people want? I'm going to find out. It's an experiment, it's pretty much in the name, EXP, experiment, can't help it.
I think the good thing about the size is a good size. The traditional magazine format increasingly is more unwieldy for people to experience, and with the increase of people reading material on their iPhone and the soon-to-be relaunched iPad, people are looking for things that they are a little bit smaller. So it's interesting that you decided to do a magazine that's a lot smaller than your average gaming magazine.
Well, to be honest, I didn't see myself making a full sort of letter-sized. Apparently, I think it's Dave Halverson just relaunched Game Fan magazine, and apparently that's huge. It's like this big or something, and to stand out in the newsstands. I don't have to stand out in the newsstands, because one of the things that's always affected, this is getting a bit long here, but American games journalism is that distribution's really hard, right? And standing at newsstands, they send back 2 out of 3 issues they put on the newsstands, right? So I don't have to do that. I don't have to stand out, other than somewhere like here where maybe I'm having a bit of trouble. But it's the ability, I have the freedom to do what I want to do without thinking about making the consumer just notice it in the first place, and that is the unfortunate fact, is if you have to distribute to all the newsstands and get it out there, you are sort of trying to grab it, but then you get home and you're like, what am I going to do with this magazine, that's this size, I can't even fit in my shelves, but...
So let's talk a little about, just the last thing I want to talk about is you and games. Can you give us an idea about your gaming history? What are your favorite titles? What do you enjoy the most now?
That's another thing, is if you read it, there's almost no kind of theme going on in this magazine, because I just love games. I kind of want them all to be good. I don't take any pleasure when someone says, "Oh, did you hear about Heavy Rain wasn't very good," or something they say. I'm not happy about that. I wanted it to be good, even though personally maybe I wouldn't think it was good when it came out. That was just a random example. I'm not picking on anyone, but the point is, I like platformers. I like third-person FPSs, or the only game. Interestingly, the only kind of game sort of genre I never really loved is RTSs. For some reason, never really stuck with me. But I did quite like Dawn of War 2, the Warhammer one, and
I guess it's that UK Warhammer connection.
Probably that as well. That's one thing I've never really trusted. I'll just come out and say I've never really liked Blizzard, because I've always felt they've ripped off Games Workshop. I'm old school, sort of war gamer at heart, sort of, so their sort of wholesale lifting of their design never stuck with me.
That always amuses me, because I've actually never played StarCraft, and as somebody who's a big PC gamer, saying that you've never played StarCraft is kind of like sacrilege. When that game first came out, I was actually really into Total Annihilation, and one thing, when I first saw StarCraft, I was into 40K, and I was like, hang on a second here, this is basically 40K without them acknowledging it is 40K, and it's sort of frustrating that they don't even want to admit their influence. Not that I'm saying Blizzard. Blizzard's an amazing company, but
absolutely, their design chops are amazing. They know exactly how to feed players content. They know exactly how to build a community around the game. World of Warcraft is amazing to me from the example of as a business and as a sort of a cultural figurehead and everything. It's not something I personally love, and I don't appreciate. I don't love their decision to really take quite a lot from other sources without acknowledging them. But they're a great company. They're quite amazing. But I agree. I played StarCraft for a while, but again, I can't handle the Zerg rush. I've got to put my hands up and say, can't hack it. Dinosaur brain can't deal with it.